There are some who question the relevance of a space activity in a developing nation. To us, there is no ambiguity of purpose. We do not have the fantasy of competing with the economically advanced nation in the exploration of moon or the planets or manned spaceflight. But we are convinced that if we are to play a meaningful role nationally and in the community of nations, we must be second to none in the application of advanced technology to the real problems of man and society. Quote by Vikram Sarabhai, founder of International Committee for Space Research or INCOSPAR, later on known as Indian Space Research Organization or ISRO. But how a nation that just used bullock carts and bicycles to transport rocket assembly parts managed to reach Mars? Well, it was all started by India launching its first Apache rocket supplied by NASA, and on 21st November 1963, India makes its first signature on space. On 1975, India managed to put its first satellite Aryabhata into the orbit with the help of a rocket made by Soviet Union. And in 1980, Rohini became the first satellite to be placed in orbit by Indian-made launch vehicle SLV-3, making India 7th nation to possess the capability to launch its own satellite on its own. The SLV project was started in early 1970s by ISRO to develop technology needed to launch satellites. The project was headed by APJ Abdul Kalam. ISRO subsequently started developing two other rockets, the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle PSLV for launching into the polar orbits and Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle GSLV for placing the satellites into geostationary orbits. PSLV continues to support Indian and foreign satellite launches, especially for low orbit satellites. It has undergone several improvements with each subsequent versions, especially those involving thrust, efficiency as well as weight. PSLV was one which helped India to launch Chandrayaan-1 for moon missions, Mangalyaan for Mars orbitary missions, and for launching 104 satellites in a single launch. Further detailed overview of those missions are coming soon, so please consider subscribing if you don't want to miss those. ISRO is actually planning to privatize the operations of PSLV and will work through joint venture with private industries. The Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle or GSLV can place approximately 5,000 kg into low Earth orbit and 2,500 kg on geostationary transfer orbit. The launch cost for GSLV is about 60 million USD, making it one of the cheapest launch available, even comparing to SpaceX Falcon 9, which cost about 62 million USD. So it is actually pretty impressive considering ISRO is running by government entities. ISRO's annual budget is about 1.2 billion USD comparing to NASA's 20.7 billion USD, and it's unfair to compare with NASA, but that doesn't stop it from innovating and pushing its limits. 1.2 billion USD is not a low budget, but for a space program it is. So even with that budget, India made it to Moon and even to Mars. And it costed ISRO just about 74 million USD, and if we compare it to some of the Hollywood movies like Avengers Infinity War, it just costed about 300 million USD. Now 74 million seems ridiculous. Not only India made it cheap, but also India was the first country to reach Mars on its first try. ISRO is planning to launch at least 2 satellites per month, and it's about to launch Chandrayaan-2 second moon mission as early as January of 2019. This video is all about just the overview of ISRO. There are a lot of things to discuss about, but this video is already getting too much lengthy, so keep subscribed for part 2 of it, where I will be discussing some in-depth details about Chandrayaan-1 and its achievements.